Hey guys, me Frank, just doing a good old deck dump here. This is one of the many decks I've been building the last few months and kind of messed around with. Kind of had like my little spurts of inspiration. And Ascension Goten was one that kind of came to mind. I know a lot of people have played him in Amplified. However, since the tactical drill banning, I kind of figured Ascension might be a little bit quicker. The big strength of the amp deck was just always having access to tactical drill and never having it being able to like leave play. So with that said, I'll just kind of start going through my deck choices here and hopefully get some feedback from everybody. Maybe I can make this deck a little bit better. It's kind of one of the decks that I'm slightly considering for playing for the upcoming event in Kenosha, but probably not going to be this one personally. I might loan this out to a buddy. With that said, let's start over with the attacks here. So right now, we are running 3 Static Shot. And being an unpreventable attack with Anger, awesome. This deck doesn't really beat too crazy hard, but with it being a wall breaker answer and just being big Anger, and a lot of people don't really necessarily expect energies coming from Goten, it's been pretty good so far. Then I got Red Energy Blast. As far as this card goes, it's hit and miss. It's really nice if I have Controlled Anger Drill out, which I'll get to that card when it gets there, but this is one of the cards that has a lot of couple of combos with it. Really just the main one for you is that you're going to be banishing your own Controlled Anger Drill, which Goten, big reason why he's nice in red is that he's fetching drills when he goes up in level, right? Well, you might ask why not just run him in orange. Well, he's probably better in orange overall, but with red, he's got a lot of synergy. He can kick the drills back in the pile, back into his life deck on level 1. Well, you don't really care about that much, because red's got a lot of discard pile and banish zone search. The 2, though, and the 3 and the 4, all are starting to grab drills for you when you hit them. With Red Energy Blast, and also another card I'll be getting to, Red Counter Kick, one of the big combos in the deck is that you go and grab Controlled Anger Drill as you level up. Now, it used to be Tactical Drill if you already had Controlled Anger Drill or whatever. Generally speaking, you get Tactical Drill out with Amplified Goten, or Ascension Goten 2, and then you would never being able to like have your anger touched. Well, this is, again, like I said, I think this is definitely weaker than Amplified Goten. I think that deck was a Tier 1 deck prior to the Tactical Drill banning. But I think the Ascension Goten still can be pretty quick, and can definitely take some decks by surprise. So back to the Red Energy Blast here. Like I said, this main deal with this is comboing it with his levels when you're going up and banishing those Controlled Anger Drills. It's a nice little play, especially when you combine it with the Mastery. You can do Mastery, skip, Red Energy Blast for an Anger, same with Counter Kick for an Anger, and then get rid of your Tactical Drill. There's 3 Anger, uninterrupted, It's pretty nice, cute little combo, and on top of it being tech. As far as how many it's going to be ran at, I don't know. It could kind of fluctuate. Kind of just depends how much I care about other ally decks or drill decks. With people playing a lot less combative nowadays in the current state of the meta here, could always jump down to 2, but we'll see. Now, Freezing Beam, this card, you don't need it as much. That's why I have it at 2. Could kind of maybe go away. I don't know. The biggest thing with it is that you can banish or destroy Controlled Anger Drill and then go grab it back with this and then go kill it with another one of these cards if you are able to land multiple ones. Or if you need to grab a clutch drill for whichever drill it is, which we'll get to the drill lineup, but it's still worth it too, just being able to tutor drills from wherever you want. Right now I'm only running a handful of drills, but that could change kind of depending. Hero Dashing Punch, I have it over here with these energy cards, mainly because I just don't have room on this mat, but this card, if you need to even wonder why this card's in here, it's so good. Having a skip with Angers is just an amazing thing, which I'm sure a lot of people have learned back when Oppressive came out, but also just Ascension, comboing this with Ascension Mastery. This deck primarily runs styled cards. I believe there are 6, 7, 8, 9, Oh, sorry. No. I'm counting wrong. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 non-stealth cards in the entire deck. So you combo this with a mastery. There's two anger that your opponent doesn't even get to interact with. It you barely ever whiff with the mastery in this deck, which just makes this card with the mastery so powerful and just getting quick levels on people. Alright, counter kick, just like kind of Red Energy Blast. Honestly, it's better than Red Energy Blast, but considering you can only kill your own board, it's just nice to have the tech that Red Energy Blast brings in the drill or ally matchup. However, counter kick can kill any drill, so if you ever, just have a drill that's just not doing anything, especially though with Controlled Anger Drill, when that card leaves play, raise your anger one. And then, again, just like with the skipping ability of this card, just so much anger that you just can't really touch, and that's one again, Amp Goten was much better, but that's also a reason why I've considered running Red Explosion in this deck, with the mastery, and just trying to, maybe trying to fit it in here is really hard though, I guess, but that's kind of, I guess, what testing's for. Red Shoulder Grab. This card is really great. It's nice to have the crits on demand, big things. I think Ball Ally meta is like kind of there. It's not what everyone's playing, but even without those things being around, being able to just on-demand crit is always a good thing, I feel. And in this deck, you're just throwing out a lot of attacks. It's nice to also just have the Wall Breaker answer in case that ever gets slapped on you. But no matter what, it's a great card, and with Red lacking so much anti-anger, it's nice to also just have that too. It just fills a lot of kind of spots, and with all of your levels kind of having an attack, except your level 3, which your level 3, can draw you a card. I'll show that a little bit better here. Oops. This can draw you a card to maybe get you another attack. I mean, you're going to not have a shortage of attacks to kind of proc off the Shoulder Grab. So right now it's at a 3. It could kind of always go down, but I think it's worth running just for the utility that it brings. Next we have Red Fury Slunge. This card's kind of one that floats here and there, but I'm trying to sort this. I think we're just going to... Can't really do this one hand too well, but... it's definitely kind of a card that, like, I'm always kind of on the fence on when I make an anger deck. It's hit 2 anger just like Static Shot. However, unlike Static Shot, this card always seems to get stopped. I can't ever get this card to hit a lot of times in matchups unless they just already... people generally... I don't know why. This card, it's kind of hit and miss. It just kind of depends. I like the endurance on it. It's hard to think of another card that I want to throw in its spot right now. Maybe that would be an Explosion spot, with Explosion just kind of also needing to hit, but Explosion probably more likely hitting, and also just having the skip is so good. It's definitely a card that can kind of get cut. Mule Kick, it's mostly in here for the Wall Breaker protection, but also there are a lot of people running attach cards. Black is running, a lot of people running Black Controller, running cards like Black Capture. Some are running Impatience. There's always people running Unleashed. A lot of the Ruthless decks, like Majin Vegeta, he will be running Unleashed. Killing his targets is kind of nice, and you even get a crit if you kill the red cards. But mostly just for Wall Breaker protection. It's been really good. We got Red Double Strike, just a kind of a core anger card. It's low damage, but Goten does have some modifiers on his levels. But really, it's just for the 2 anger physical is nice. Moving up, we have Red Tandem Attack. This is mostly an ad because of Mischievous meta right now. It's just like in the days of when you would be playing Red Anger against Black Devious Master back when it was Enraged. That card just does so much work, replacing itself when it gets discarded. And really, it's just, you're kind of hoping that you want to RNGs it out of your hands just so you get that free anger. But it's kind of a card that I don't really want to run. But again, it's kind of meta, and it also has endurance, which Red really needs. Red Cheap Shot. This just works with the drill synergy. It's a nice, pretty strong AT4 physical. It's got some endurance, not a ton, but it just fits with the theme that we're kind of playing around drills. A card that kind of I've considered is Red Power Punch, and that card just kind of With this build, this is really just trying to use the drills as mostly as fodder for your MP levels or for the combo cards like Counter Kick and Energy Blast. But that was a card that's been on the consideration list. Cheap Shot, it doesn't always get you the drill, but it's just still, no matter what, it's a nice physical. So it's kind of kept its stay. Now another one we have is Red Driving Knee. Now this card, just like Furious Lunge, can turn into a 2-anger card potentially on and hit. It also gives you critical damage effect, which, hey, you know, on top of the shoulder grab, it's kind of nice to just have all those crit effects here and there. You know, helps you against like a random, you know, ball deck or ally, or even anger. It's just a very nice card. Your Mastery does give you stages off of critical damage effects, which, you know, if you've played against any physical deck, you're going to probably be getting hit. And, you know, a lot of times I'll let people kind of hit me with a physical, and then I'll throw this. So that way I know that if it does hit, I will use the crit to get stages back. It can turn into a 2-anger card, and if you combo with the Mastery, you know, the 3-anger swing right there. You know, same with, I suppose you could say of Furious Lunge and Static Shot with Mastery. Mainly, they're just not as consistent as, say, Counter Kick or Energy Blast. But really, there's a lot of multiple, like, 3-anger kind of swings that you can get with this deck without your opponent necessarily interacting with it. You got Red Destiny, you know, 2-anger card. That's just mostly it. It's really just here for the anger. It does help. The -2/-2 is really nice, and especially as as you get up to level 2, you know, you have a -2 modifier, or sorry, a -1 modifier on the level 2. Oh, it's stuck to the level 1 here. You have a -1 modifier, stage modifier on all your opponent's attacks. You know, I thought about running Blazing Aura. It doesn't really have a spot in this deck, but on level 2, you know, dropping 3 stages off all your opponent's attacks, really great in the physical meta, on top of the fact that as level 4 makes them deal -2 stages. You get that with the Destiny. Physical decks just don't touch you. In addition to what blocks we're running, it's just really hard for physical decks to do a lot against you. On top of the anger, they have to deal with not only your anger, and this the stupid amount of anger you can kind of gain, but also the fact that you're running mainly physicals that can drop their AT. It's just kind of really nice. Has a good matchup against physical decks. Goten really shines against physical decks, I feel. You got Red Relaxation, just a great card. Gives you more cards, gives you a crit damage effect, gives you stages. It's just awesome. Awesome card. Red Controlled Anger Drill. You know, again, this is the main combo card of the deck. Main combo card that you're combining with Counter Kick and with Red Energy Blast. Goten being able to fetch a drill every time he levels up on each of his levels, and when you get to level 4, you get 2 drills out of any zone. This card at 3 has to be in there. You're constantly wanting this card out because you have multiple cards in the deck that can kill this card. Not just the 2 cards I mentioned, the Counter Kick and the Energy Blast, but also the Goten level 3 combination, where you discard a card from your hand, or you destroy a drill you control to draw a card. There you go. You kick this out when you get to level 3, and then you instantly destroy it for an anger and a free card draw, and your opponent's next attack does 0 damage. Like, it's just Goten loves kicking out drills, and that card loves to just get killed, and Red loves to kill its own drills. So it just kind of works out really well. And the best part is even if you don't have all these other cards that are going to kill your drill, because you're running this anger deck with Ascension Mastery and all these nice Red anger cards, you're going to be leveling enough to where even if you don't have the combo cards to just chain off big bits of anger, you're still going to be probably leveling no matter what. So you're always going to be getting like an extra anger off every MP level that you're going up. And with his level 1 and 2 both giving you anger, it's very easy to get to level 3. Now level 3 in this deck is a spot that you can sometimes stall on. It's mostly kind of dependent on what you're drawing at that point. You want to hope that you can fly up quick enough and get another Controlled Anger Drill out on level 3, and then combine it with one of these cards so that you don't get stalled out by your opponent's anger hate. The 2 other drills that we're running right now, they've kind of fluctuated. Before I've had Intimidation Drill. I liked Intimidation Drill because it had synergy with the Red Shoulder Grab. All your attacks deal critical damage. Intimidation Drill says you get to draw a card after you deal critical damage. I found that never working. I've thought about Swordplay Drill. I don't run sword cards, mainly because I just don't have the spot right now. But that would be something that I would consider over, I'd say Tandem Attack. But it's kind of or even over Furious Lunge. It's kind of something that I'm thinking about right now. I'm sure I'll try a few more games with the Furious Lunge before I switch it to Sword Stab, and if I do add Sword Stab to this deck, I will find a spot for a red sword play drill. But for now, it's just these two. So let's talk about what they are. Red Quickness Drill. This card is pretty cool. It kind of sucks that it doesn't do anything for you when you fetch it on level, but just being able to hand filter, biggest thing with this deck is like, if you want to just like get rid of, let's say, Red Energy Blast, kind of a crappy card in the matchup, or, let's say, you're not going to land, let's say energies or whatever, you just want to dig in your deck quicker, or you draw in, combat, and you don't want this red retreat for some reason, or your physical matchup, energies, or whatever you want to, it's nice to just being able to filter through your deck quicker with this card. Forward Stance Drill. Just mostly for if you ever need the block. I honestly don't think I've ever used this for effect. Ever. I usually just level before I even get to use it. So it's kind of a thought that I'm going to cut it. This is probably going to get cut. I've been kind of hit and miss with this card. It's mainly this deck is just leveling so much that I'm never keeping my drills out very long, and I'm always prioritizing this. So really anything other than Controlled Anger Drill at least for my playstyle and in this deck, hasn't really been too crazy important. But for now, these are the two drills that I have. Like I said, Swordplay Drill might make an entrance in here. I think that would be much better, honestly, even than both of these. So we'll see. I'm thinking that is going to be a change after some more matches. If I don't find Furious Lunge to my liking, these will turn into two Swordplay Drills, and Furious Lunge will turn into Sword Stab. I think that would be a decent change if going forward. If anybody wants to give me feedback on how they feel about that, I'd love to hear it. I think that is a good idea. However, just for me personally, this is what I have right now. But that's a potential change that I'll figure out in testing. Alright, now gonna try to finish this up quick, but Blocking Hand, great card, 2 anger gives you stages. I mean, we're an anger deck, we're just trying to level. Now, the big reason why Goten is so good right now, I think, in literally anything, is this card right here. You raise your MP to the highest power stage, and then you get to search for 3 different drills from, your banish or discard pile and put it back in your deck. And it's got endurance. I mean, this card is so amazing against a physical deck. On top of the fact that you're leveling so much, and grabbing, just grabbing advantage, especially, like, for example, an orange version, but even in this version, you're just grabbing so many cards, when you're going up, and getting all these stages back, and then even if you catch Goten out finally, then he just plays this, gets all the stages back. Physical decks have such a hard time with this deck that it's a big reason why I think Goten is a really good contender right now, and one big reason why I made this deck. Resourceful Block, it's kind of, I honestly don't ever play it, so this probably will turn into disregard personally. I might even go through your disregard. Kind of just going to depends on if I ever do get a good use off it. But it's Resourceful Block works, I think, does work good Goten in theory, because each one of your levels is an attack. 1, 2, I mean 3 doesn't have an attack, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 4 all are attacks. And on top of it, when you go back up at the end of the combat, let's say you get to go grab another drill. So it's really good for setting yourself up for another combat. And hey, in a stage beats meta again, dropping a level to gain 5 stages if you were at 0 on your previous level, really great. And it's got big endurance. Red Flea, just big endurance. It's literally just in here because it's big endurance and it gives you an anger. Brace could be a good substitute too. But honestly, I think Flea's just slightly better because I just don't really care about energy decks. I feel like none of them are going to stall me out long enough that I really need to get those braces back in my deck. So that extra 1 endurance for me is what sold it. And also, yeah, I do really want my stages in my deck just to help my AT out too. So making my energies cost 1 less, for my 8 energies that I'm running right now is still kind of nice. It helps you out a bit. It makes you a little bit more flexible with stage beats being a thing. Time, just obviously an include. So right now I'm only running 3 combat enders. These are my last 3 cards in the deck. We got Gohan, Great Saiyaman, combat ender if you're Goten, Videl, or Pan. Great card. This deck I think could maybe use blinding. I think it would be really helpful as far as where I fit it. kind of gonna have to see. It'll probably take the place of some card that's not giving me consistent value. Again, I think Red Tandem Attack is definitely up there. These two drills are up there as far as cards to get cut. Furious Lunge. I think all those cards might see some swaps. We'll see. Even Driving Knee to an extent. I'll probably leave Driving Knee before I'd cut out Furious Lunge, though. But right now, all those cards bring me so much endurance. It's going to be kind of a test a little bit more to see how this runs. And if I am really getting stalled out, or I really am finding myself needing to end combat more, then I will maybe swap for some blindings in here. But for right now, I think the Red Retreat is awesome. You know, you combo this card with, again, Controlled Anger Drill. You search out a Controlled Anger Drill, even if you don't, you know, if you don't even have one, you can always just get yourself a replacement drill anyway. One of these two other drills, and then just go still banish your Controlled Anger Drill. But you search your life deck, banish Controlled Anger Drill for an anger, end of combat, raise your anger 1 for mastery. On top of, let's say, you could mastery into this for a 3 anger combo. It's another 3 anger combo, and it just works so well with Controlled Anger Drill and the mastery. Gohan, you know, he's just a combat ender. He doesn't do as much fun stuff as Red Retreat, but he's still a combat ender. And, you know, hey, you play him for some stages so you can redirect stage damage. So, Ball 7, Earth Ball 7 could make it in here too. It kind of just really depends. I don't really feel like this deck needs as much combat ending, but maybe moving towards more of a combat ending deck with Red Explosion, 2 blinding injury moves, as well as an Earth Ball 7 could maybe be the right path. I suppose we'll see. Kind of looking for opinions on that. I think that could be a really good contender deck, though. I mean, I really think this can contend. I think as far as those changes I mentioned, they might make it. It's really there on the fence. I could probably have almost made them here now, but for right now, these are the reasons why I have the deck how it is. It's just mostly going to be a little bit more testing, I think, against more control. I think the physical matchup is pretty much set. This deck can handle physical decks very well with its high block line, the 8 physical blocks plus time, on top of just the combat ending and just the pure anger gain. It's very hard for physical decks to beat this deck, and I think it angers quick enough that control decks can get caught by it. As far as ball goes, shoulder grab is there. You're going to have to try to anger or hope that you just luck a shoulder grab combat when they don't have time and then just go in. But I think this deck has a lot of potential. I think it could use some tweaking. I think those tweaks that I was suggesting could be really good. However, I think, again, it's kind of going to depend on what meta this is going into. Furious Lunge and Tandem Attack, though. Tandem Attack more of a meta card, I feel. Furious Lunge could definitely, it's going to, I think, be preference, and if I really need the endurance or not. So I guess we'll see. But, you know, if I replace it with Sword Stab, I'd be actually gaining endurance. But we'll see. Anyway, this is my Ascension Goten deck. Thanks for listening. Sorry, it was a bit of a rant here, but it's mostly kind of a more spontaneous breakdown. But I'm trying to do my best here to kind of give you an idea of what I have here. So hopefully this kind of gets some, you know, thought process going. I think Goten is a very underplayed MP. I think Ascension Mastery should see a little bit more play than it has, but we'll see. I think Red Anger could really steal some wins again. I think people are still running Anger Hate, but I don't feel like MPPV is really getting like played that much. I think there are definitely fan PPV decks, don't get me wrong, but I feel most of the real angering decks are still, you know, those Beats decks, those Vegetas, and the such. So while it doesn't beat too bad, you know, too hard, I think this deck could maybe pull off a Beats con, not as good as Amplified used to, I feel, but it can definitely still do some stuff. I think it's a very respectable deck, and I think you should try it out.